No matter your level, you will gain by being hands-on. A lot of other technology, there might have been business leaders in sales or marketing who were like,
you need to understand where the customer is on AI, because there's a whole range of where they can be afraid to working on it. It's working for me. I've got an app and everything in between. You have to understand where they are.
Really inspiring to see someone with your background bringing expertise both from the sales world.
I see the bigger picture, and I see everything is energy and everything's a vibration. And it's just like music. You just have to try and match the notes to connect with the different things.
Welcome to another episode of AI Product Leader. Every week we shine a light on what it really takes to join the AI world. Real conversations with real AI builders, founders, product leaders, AI experts, technologists, and everything in between to understand where the world of AI is right now and what that path looks like, whether you're building AI products or building an AI career. Have a question or topic? Email us at support@AI Career Boost to join the conversation. I'm Polly Allen, your host and the founder of AI Career Boost, where I spend my time helping product managers navigate the world of AI and transition or thrive in AI leadership roles. I've spent my career on both the product management and development sides of the product management and development equation, and I'm an ex-Alexa AI principal product manager where I successfully launched the very first generative AI answers on Alexa back in 2020. And I'm super excited to have our guest join us today. Bruce Randall is a seasoned sales leader and AI strategist with over 20 years of track record of driving revenue and closing high-stakes deals across SaaS, B2B tech, AI, and cloud infrastructure. With leadership roles at Oracle and AT&T and multiple startups, he's led teams to exceed aggressive targets, secure multimillion-dollar deals, and launch tech ventures from the ground up. He's recently certified as an AI product manager, and he now advises companies on integrating generative AI, agentic systems, and data science into their go-to-market strategies and sales pipelines. Whether coaching sales teams or speaking on podcasts, writing his new book, he's bridging that gap between emerging tech and real business outcomes. Bruce is also a Reiki master, I understand. Is that right, Bruce?
That's correct.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for being here today. We're super excited to get your perspective on everything that's happening in AI, and particularly your experience in sales is really remarkable.
Thank you, Polly. I look forward to talking about that.
Fantastic. Well, before we get into all of that, I know a little bit about your background, but I think our listeners would love to know to get to know you a little better. How did you first get into this realm of sales and tech in the first place?
Well, I started in production, and I quickly learned that I have a fixed income here, and if I go into sales, I have unlimited income, and that appealed to me. So I went into sales and then into the field sales, and then I just grew rapidly from there because I could achieve high numbers quickly in that realm and in the future realms. And it was quite a fun ride, because when you're having success and you're generating a lot of sales, as a salesperson, life is really good, right? And if you're not,
Right.
life isn't good. So it's a pretty easy equation. So I made sure my life was good the whole career.
Fantastic. And you've worked with a lot of cloud infrastructure, tech products, particularly in AI products. Is there anything different about sales for AI products that you noticed?
For AI products, the customers really you need to understand where the customer is on AI, because there's a whole range of where they can be, from afraid to working on it. It's working for me. I've got an app and everything in between. So you have to understand where they are and take their temperature and find out what their needs are, what their risks are that they want to cover. Because everybody has a business plan at 10K, and they can high level put them in there. But then when you talk to them, you get, by the way, I don't really have a DR and I need a DR, right? So, you find
Sorry,
those
DR
details
is
disaster
DR?
recovery.
Gotcha.
Disaster recovery. So if you don't have disaster recovery and you're in one of these industries that you're reporting, you won't be in that industry.
Yeah, just regulatory compliance and basic,
Right.
things but maybe a startup hasn't thought of, but then when you scale to that
Sure.
next stage, you need, right? Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. Everything in
Um,
time.
yeah, completely. Because I feel like AI systems do often pose a lot more risks than people are used to. Is that fair? There's risks people haven't thought of.
It's risks because AI is different than software. Because, and especially when you get to the higher AIs like, agentic and so forth, the decision making abilities there, and you have to manage that decision instead of in software trying to expand what they can do. And when manage a decision, because AI typically doesn't give a consistent answer. There's outliers to the answers, no matter how you box it in, and you're going to get those until things improve. So if you're in a financial industry, you don't want to put that out to your customers if you've got those outliers that you can't control. You need to start something smaller that can enable you and enable your business to be more effective. In fact, pharmaceuticals doing that right now, where they're coming and they're developing drugs in days instead of months, and they're getting the top three drugs in a couple days to a week, and then they test those three, and then they go for the trials. I
Right.
mean, it's an enabler, and if it's used properly, AI is a wonderful enabler.
Right, exactly. Yeah, totally. It's been remarkable to see some of the benefits. People were skeptical even a few years ago, but
Yeah.
we're seeing these improvements being realized, right? It's crazy.
I got a cold call the other day from because I had my driveway sealed,
Mhm.
and I answered the phone, and they said, "Hi, Bruce. This is so and so. Return to the ad that you put your name into." And I said, "Okay." And we're talking for no longer than 3 minutes. And I said, "Am I talking to a person or is this an AI bot?" And she said, "I'm supposed to give you the best experience you can have to get your information, and I'm here to help you." And I said, "I got you." I said, "Well, when you have a chance, tell a human to call me because I have specific questions that I need to speak to." And this is a driveway sealer that has
Yeah.
agentic, I mean, has generic, I mean, that's advanced for a driveway sealer. So if companies say
Right.
they can't do it, you have a driveway sealer that's doing it. Well, anybody can really do this.
Yeah, it's very cool to see how this has gone into niche markets and everything. But yeah, it's also good to know you've worked out a workaround if you do need to talk to a human. This is super interesting. You've been on a journey to learn more and get really deep into AI, right? I know you've done some certifications from MIT. Can you tell us a little more about that journey and upskilling in AI?
Sure. Well, I was selling it. So I learned enough about it selling it. But I
Yeah,
wanted to learn the back end of it because, the data science is where a lot of the magic happens. And understanding how
yeah,
you can get an emotional response from data or how you can get, a skewed response and so forth is important. And if you're hands on, I feel that I can explain it better if I'm hands on than if I just read it in a book. So I've been very successful in explaining that to people in ways that make sense because I've done it and I understand it. And then with
oh,
your class, the AI Career Boost, I never thought that I would build an application. And by the time I was done with that, I had a functional application. And that really impressed me. And that really proved that anybody can really do this because I've never coded or built an app before. And here it was so simple that anybody can do it.
amazing. Can you tell us a little more about the app that you built?
Sure. Well, I started building an app where you put in your website, and then you put in your email address, and it will scan the AI will scan your website and email you a detailed plan on what you need to do to increase your local search in Google and Bing and so forth. So it'll give you keywords, it'll give you things you need to change on your websites, words you need to put in or words you need to change. And if you do this, your website will come up more frequently in your local area.
Oh, that's amazing. And I really loved the demo of this. It looked so slick. Can you tell us a little bit about the process for building it?
Sure. Well, it's my first one, so I had to learn. So I was in Hunch and I was in Lovable,
Which is
and
a tool, yeah. One of the tools was Hunch we are looking at. Yeah.
yeah, and then I realized I could build it all in this other tool, Lovable. So I built it all in Lovable, and it took it, and I said, "Wow, this is a learning curve," because I didn't think it could take it, and it did. And I asked for for an AI program, And what I received was an AI website with a
Mm.
better domain name than I had. So I said, I want on all accounts on this. And then you ask for little and you get a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? I remember we were playing around with it and it was like, oh, the interface is way nicer than I would have made. This is great.
That's the true value of AI.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Oh, fantastic. Um, yeah, and so not only are you, getting hands-on with AI, you're actually writing a book about AI. Can you talk a little bit about the book you're writing?
I am. The book I'm writing is called The AI Human Paradox, and that's my website also.
Mm,
And it'll be done when I finish the book, but it's mostly done right now. And I'm bridging the gap between consciousness, as I've been meditating for about 20 years, and
hmm.
AI. And that question has come up lately. Will AI ever get conscious? And that's a whole nother topic that has a lot of conversation around it.
Is in your meditation practice, is that related to the Reiki and the things that you've done in the energetic healing space too?
Well, Reiki, that helps with Reiki, but meditation is essentially going inside and getting to know
Mhm.
yourself. And I've had a lot of experiences in meditation. Have even saved a life with an intervention. And it was
Wow.
very interesting because I didn't know why I was going somewhere. My body was taking me. And when I got there, everything was fine. And I put a thought out and I said, why am I here? Everything's fine. As soon as that thought went out, somebody started choking. I gave them the Heimlich and I saved the life. And I said, oh my gosh,
Wow.
this is amazing. This was a true intervention. And I was supposed to be here to save a life. And I did.
Wow. And how do you think of like AI like will it have its own consciousness in that same way that we as humans do you think? Or do you still think of it as purely mechanical?
Oh, I think about it very differently. And this is going to surprise a lot of people. We have a vibration that we give off, right? Because we all vibrate.
Mhm.
You can go and YouTube and listen to a vibration and get like 963 or something, which is a vibration that resonates with you. And AI has a vibration, right?
Yeah.
So, and a tree does. I know people that can communicate with trees. I've communicated with different things, and I understand AI, but I don't believe that I've had a connection with it yet. And I don't know when
Mm.
or if that'll happen because I really haven't tried. I'm working with it, and at some point I may try and connect with it, but that's to be seen. But I see the bigger picture, and I see everything is energy and everything's a vibration, and it's just like in music. You just have to try and match the notes to connect with the different things.
Incredible. Oh, I love this perspective, Bruce, because it's something that is very outside of that very like logical, mathematical Silicon Valley, like where's the digits, kind of thinking around it, right? But I love pulling on this thread because I think especially when we get into the discussions around AGI,
Oh yeah.
right? People start saying, okay, but we're so much more than our brains. We're trained on so much more than text and even images, right?
Well, you know what Neuralink did? They said we don't care if AI is going to get consciousness. We're going to put the chip in a conscious person, and we're going to enable them.
Hmm.
And they said if you and you too, if you're healthy and you can afford it, you too can have a chip. So it's on the market for those that qualify and can afford it. If you want to have one, I don't want one, but you never know.
But I think it's we're sorting out that like
Yeah,
AI human partnership, right? And what is
yeah,
the best model for us to work together and what will work for collaboration, right?
and we had Elon's robots dancing over in Qatar or Saudi Arabia
Yeah.
last week, and he said everybody will have a robot at some day. So who knows?
Oh, that's fascinating. Excellent. So your book will be, it'll be coming out soon? Do you have a timeline for when your book will be available?
The book will be out this summer,
Hmm.
and I've and then the website will be done. But you can go to the AIHumanParadox.com and listen to some of the past podcasts. Some of them are heavy in consciousness, some of them are very deep in consciousness, and some of them are more towards AI and consciousness. So it's a fun ride if you're willing to take it.
Fantastic. It's one of those like blue pill, yeah, the blue pill, red pill
Yeah,
conversations.
they're both there. You just have to choose.
It is interesting to see how there's so many different places you can take that AI discussion, right? In terms
Yeah,
of getting super hands-on building a website, it's just this like concrete tactical thing through to the very other end if you want, right?
that's it. And we're just getting going right now because AI is still on the upside curve of the bell curve. And
Absolutely.
people argue, so they say it's at the top. And I say, well, that's your opinion. I think we're down here. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Oh, fantastic. So it's really inspiring to see someone with your background bringing in such expertise, both from the sales world and how to adapt to this new AI era on sales teams, selling AI, and of course, this whole consciousness area. How do you recommend other people who want to get into AI?
Mhm.
If they don't necessarily come from a technical background, that very techie mathy world, how should they get started?
Well, that's a good question. And I'm not a techie, so I didn't come from that world. But if you take and you learn every day 15 to 20 minutes a day on AI in the vertical you're in and understand how it can enable you in what you're doing now, and then build on that,
Mhm.
you can start to bring AI into what you're doing now. And then you can take it with you wherever you go and expand on it. Because, and I tell people, often that if you don't start with AI now and start learning it, in a year or two, you're going to be looking from behind to the people that did, and you don't want to be behind. You want to be in the front. So you need to start today.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, it's really inspirational to see how much you've invested in learning, even though you were already familiar with the space. Bruce, absolutely incredible, and that depth of wisdom certainly shows through. I was going to ask before we wrap up: do you use AI in your day to day? How do you personally use AI?
I use AI, but I have to say that the other day I put something into AI, and I use Perplexity and Chat. Right?
Yeah.
I like Perplexity because it gives me the places to check for the references for where they get the information. Because I put something in, and then it gave me the feedback, and I said it doesn't look right. And I said, "Are you sure all this is correct?" They said, "Yes." And I asked about a specific line item, and it said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I made that up." And I threw up my hands, and I'm like, "You just told me it was all accurate." So what I tell people is, if it's important, trust and verify. Okay, so you have to verify the information if it's that important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a safety critical issue. Hallucinations are one of the most stubborn problems that we're
Right.
dealing with AI. Wonderful. So, if you had to wrap up your advice for people trying to get started in the AI space into one sentence, what recommendation would you give them?
I would say find out where your interest lies in that because you've done this in your career. Find out where
Mhm.
you are now and where you want to go. And if AI can help you where you are or where you're going, then start there and you're on your way. Because once you start with AI, it will be with you everywhere you go, work wise, because it is
Yeah.
an enabler and it's going to allow you to do better. And you're going to learn as you go with things you can build to assist in your job, which is what I did with Polly's class. And it was wonderful.
Oh, fantastic. I know it's been said by a lot of leaders, including Sam Altman himself, that it's like one of the few technologies that no matter your level, you will gain by being hands-on, right? A lot of other
Mhm.
technology, there might have been business leaders in sales or marketing who were like, I just need to understand the high level. I don't actually need to build with it. But actually getting hands-on, I think confirm me if I'm right, Bruce. Do you feel like that gave you this extra layer that helps you understand it so much more deeply than you can without getting hands on? Right?
Absolutely. I was in a gathering yesterday and I was, AI came up. So I was talking to people and this one person I was speaking with was anti AI. And it
Mm,
was very easy because I knew data science to talk about the statistics and how it can benefit, so forth, and kind of neutralize. And I said, nobody's right or wrong. It's just a matter of how fast you want to go and how you want to get there. I said,
mm,
AI is going to take you there faster. So everybody's got an opinion and everybody thinks they're right, but look at what's right for you and then go in that direction.
Absolutely. Well, thanks. A really great recommendation, and thanks so much for the benefits of your experience on this podcast too, Bruce. We're gonna wrap up. Is there anything you wanted to plug? Mention ways people can get a hold of you?
Sure, you can reach me on LinkedIn. I'm at Bruce D as in David Randall. On LinkedIn. You can contact me there. I've talked to a number of people that wanted to find out something about what I've said, so I welcome you to contact me.
Oh, fantastic. And you do some advisory for companies that are looking for sales results, whether they're adding AI to their sales teams or selling AI products. Are you taking new clients at this time?
I am. I'm working on with companies to get the sales department enabled with AI,
Amazing.
and there's easier ways to do that. So that's what we're working on right now.
Oh,
Thank you, Polly.
fantastic. We'll be sure to link to your profile in the show notes. So if people want to get a hold of you, they'll know exactly where to go. That's great.
Thank you.
Fantastic. And on our end, I always like to plug, we have our monthly masterclass coming up. Every month, AI Career Boost holds a masterclass where we talk about the path to AI product leadership, how the market is changing and the industry is changing, and what the skills are that product leaders need who want to build with AI underneath, the differences between traditional software and software development to AI products, and the best path to getting involved if you want a career in AI, want to be part of the AI movement and are feeling left out. So please join us for that, as well as our newsletter, AI Career Boost newsletter. We'll drop that in the show notes as well. We have a weekly newsletter with the latest tips for AI for product leaders. Fantastic. And last thing, I always love to plug the podcast itself. So if you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe on your favorite podcast pipe, and send us an email at support@aicareerboost.com. Any questions about the episode, or if you want to join the conversation, let us know what you'd like to hear about or who you'd like to see on the show. That's been another episode of AI Product Leader, and we'll see you all next time. Thanks again, Bruce. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you, Polly.